Right, so we are now looking at developing the negative shape so that we can create a custom mold. And what we see here is that we've got two halves. In this case, they're identical because this form is symmetrical. But we really have to split the subdivision object into two to get those two halves. And one thing that we can do to prepare the form to split it is to turn it from a subdivision surface to a regular NURBS surface. So if we look at this object that I have selected here, we see that it's an open poly surface, or otherwise known as a Rhino like NURBS object, or whereas the subdivision thing is a kind of whole different animal. Here I've already split it into, actually one of these is split, oh yeah, this one is split into two. It's got the top and bottom half. If I toggle the SUBD form, I can still select the bottom or the top half. So it really helps if you can use the loop or edge loop tool to go all the way around your form, and then we can use the SUBD edit split at edge loop command, and that's the command that we will use to divide a SUBD object into two halves. So basically it's taken wherever you have that edge loop going all the way around. In this case we want it to be right in the center, because that is the mirroring point or level that we want in order to get half and half top and bottom mold for our CNC. So the next step, once you have split your SUBD into two halves, is to take the subdivision object and run what's called the two NURBS command. So two NURBS, what it does is it takes a SUBD object and converts it into a standard Rhino surface or object. And you can see that it's done that because it's changed the geometry from the internal smooth lines that you see here for the SUBD object, very few lines. It's essentially turned it into something resembling a mesh or a series of internal U and V parameter lines. And if we go to our properties, it tells us that it's an open poly surface. So it's open because it hasn't been capped. So for example, if I take this one and I run the two NURBS command, it hasn't been capped. Now I might be able to run a cap command, but we'll see down here on the lower left, we get a message saying unable to cap one object. So when we have complex forms, sometimes you can't cap them all in one go. So the next thing we're going to do is a procedure to generate that top surface so we can create a solid NURBS object now that we don't have SUBDs anymore, because you've reached your final form and you're ready to use it in a subtractive manner to develop your mold. So let's have a look at how to do that.